Welcome to Allie's Attic Show, where you never know what kind of surprise you'll find in my attic. I'm your host, Allie, and today my surprise is a contemporary indie folk group based in Brighton, UK, and we're talking to the songwriter and guitarist, Ian Roland. Hello, Ian.
Hi, Ali.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
Awesome.
Yes, I'm very well.
Okay, so Ian Roland Music consists of you, along with Simon Yap on fiddle. And
Correct, yes.
Is it Brian Jackson?
It's Bryony.
Bryony Jackson.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to get it wrong. And she's on cello.
That's right.
Now, I love your music. Like it's catchy. It pulls you in. I love, and your vocals. Oh my God. So basically, tell me your journey, Ian, when you started this and right up to now.
Okay. Well, I started playing guitar when I was about 14, and I was in various bands up to a point in my early 20s when I started working at a residential recording studio near Hastings on the southeast coast of the UK. And there I met a producer called Tim Cross, who worked with the Mike Oldfield band.
Okay.
And he worked on the 5 Miles Out album and did all that tour. And I worked with Tim on various musical projects, over about a 20-year span. And he passed away, sadly, about 5 years ago. Oh. And I was quite at a loss at that point what to do, because he was a very close, dear friend, and I found that the best way to deal with that loss was to go out and play live again. So I started writing new songs for this project. Really, I started going out playing solo around Brighton and London, writing new songs all the time, and then I recorded in 2015 the How That Dust Jumps album locally, and a session musician came in to play some fiddle on that, and that was Simon Yap. And since then, we've been going out pretty much playing as a duo for the last 2 or 3 years. And then last year, around about September time, we met a cellist called Bryony Jackson, who's got also sings as well. And we recorded The Valley. We went up to Manchester, which is quite a long way from Brighton, but we wanted it to be produced by the person who produced our previous EP, They Became You EP. We recorded that, just Simon and I, in 2017, and that produces Nigel Stonia, and he's worked with one of my very favourite bands of all time, the Waterboys,
and also
amongst with lots of other people.
Yeah, like Thea Gilmore, Joan Baez. Wow.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and it was really, really good to get that producer input again, because it was something that Tim Cross used to provide for my music when I was working with Tim, because we also used to do recording of original stuff as well as writing stuff, for clients, and so that was really good. And that's where we are really with this new release, 3 songs, The Valley, with all 3 of us on it, and forging ahead, trying to play more gigs and promote it.
And that's awesome. I just want to read some of the things people have said, because one of them I love, absolutely love. It made me giggle. Most captivating and beautiful sound makers, melodic, folk-oriented band with stunning musicianship and vocal harmonies, wonderful songs. That was Jonathan Tarpley from Words and Music Festival 2017. This is the one that made me giggle. More hooks than a long line fishing vessel. That was Charlie Elland from Folk Words.
Yeah. We like that one as well. We've actually put that up on our website because that's a really good, very good compliment, and we're very proud of that.
Yeah, I loved it. Cracking songs, entertainment and varied, packed with memorable tunes, upbeat, positive lyrics, and fab playing. That was Phil Widows from Folkcast. So you're getting very, very good reviews on the Valley. Now, you've played all over. You've played in Brighton, Bristol, Cambridge, London, Sussex, and Kent. So
That's right.
you just are basically, are you planning on maybe going outside of the UK anytime in the future, or it depends?
We would love to. In fact, Ali, if you know anywhere in Canada, we would love to play. Canada is one of those places that I've always wanted to visit, and I really am determined to visit it. When I can in my lifetime, because I've heard such wonderful stories about the beautiful landscape you have over there.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. In fact, I was talking to somebody today because in my day job, I'm a web developer, and somebody was telling me about an island off Vancouver Island. I can't remember the name, but it's a very tiny island just off Vancouver Island itself.
Yeah, I lived on it. It's Vancouver Island. Victoria's there, Nanaimo, Tofino. There's Campbell River, but yeah, it's Vancouver Island, and I lived there for 3 years.
Okay.
And gorgeous, and mountains, and the ocean, and oh my God. But I live in Winnipeg. I'm in Manitoba, where we get the crazy, crazy winters and the beautiful summers. But the fishing and the forests, it's gorgeous here too. And talking about, if you wanted to, I don't know how you get a hold of them, but Birds Hill Provincial Park here in Manitoba has a folk festival every year in the summer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so maybe that's something you can look into, because that would be cool, because then I could come meet you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's huge.
Birds Hill. Is it Birds Hill?
Birds Hill Provincial Park in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Okay.
So, yeah, maybe you can find out from them. I don't know how you contact them. I'm sure they have it up on the website. And it's called, I think it's called the Winnipeg Music Festival. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, it's a folk festival that they have every summer, and people from all over come for this, and there is amazing music there.
Because there's also, I mean, Canada, I listen to lots of Canadian artists like Iron and Wine have come out of Canada, haven't they? My guitar that I play, the Simon and Patrick 12-string that I play, and I've got 2 of them. It's a Canadian make.
Oh, nice.
So I need to go at least to see the factory where my guitars are made.
Yeah, actually it is. It's called the Winnipeg Folk Festival. So you can look that up on the web, on the internet. It's Winnipeg Folk Festival, and it's in Birds Hill. And Birds Hill is just outside of Winnipeg, and it's a beautiful provincial park. And they set up stages, and they have they have like workshops where they teach kids how to play and stuff, and then they have crafts and food, and people camp like throughout the entire festival. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah. So yeah, if you can get a hold of them, that would be cool. But let me know, because I want to come see you.
Definitely would.
Yeah,
definitely would.
That would be so cool. Okay, so you also have a YouTube video, The Valley, right? You have a studio audio version, and then you have the live performance at St. Edith's Folk Club in Kent.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. So we did in January. We went and recorded a video to accompany the single, The Valley. A friend of ours has a drone. He's kind of does cinematography, and he's got a drone with a little camera on it. And just behind where I live is the Sussex Downs, the South Downs, which is like a chalk hill range, and we went up there to shoot a video to accompany The Valley. It was in January, so it was pretty misty and wet and cold. But we went up there, and our friend, the cameraman, got his drone up. He was very he had to be very careful, because he couldn't launch it in this damp, wet weather. certainly not when it was raining. So we had to, capture moments when we could film it, amongst also dodging the dog walkers who weren't very keen on our drone flying over this public space. So that shot of that the video is all in one take.
Oh wow!
With a few edits, so we didn't have that much time to rerun it. And you can probably see us at the beginning of the video. We're trying not to fall over, but because it's uphill and it was quite muddy, and there's loads of divots and mole hills that we were trying to avoid going up that hill. So you probably see us wobbling around a little bit on that video, that's the reason.
That's funny. Well, everybody go watch it. Now, because you've been doing this for a while, Ian, and I ask everybody that comes on my show this question, but if you had any advice to give an artist this out there, what kind of advice would you give them, do you think?
I think persistence is the key, because there's so much music out in the world now. The availability of being able to put out music up on platforms and record it yourself, even on home systems, means that there's an awful lot of competition out there, and I think you've got to really be persistent. It's got to be something that, for me, it's almost a compulsion, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just have to do it. It's something that it gives a lot of meaning to my life, and it's rewarding for that reason, very much so. But at the same time, you have to have a pretty thick skin, because there's an awful lot of competition out there, and everybody's, trying to compete for the festival slots, and you've just got to keep going and do it for. I basically do it because it's so integral to how I live. Really, it's quite a strange thing. It's become that, for me over the times that I've been doing it. I often ask myself. Well, I don't actually ask myself anymore. I've in the past asked myself, why am I doing this? But it's just part of, almost like breathing now. Really,
wow.
You've just got to keep doing it. Got to keep doing it.
Yeah,
it's such a passion.
And you have to be passionate about it. You have to be, because most indie musicians know there's not a lot of money in it, so it's got to be your passion. Now, what 2 songs are we going to hear from you, Ian?
Okay, so The Valley, which is the single of our new EP, and also Searchlight, which is the second track on that EP. And
they're beautiful songs, both of them. I want to say thank you. Well, actually, before I thank you, you can buy your music online, and you can also go to your website, ianroland.com. That's going to be up on my website. People can click on the link and go right to your website and find out even more about you and listen to more of your music. So thank you so much. I know it's late there because you're in the UK. And you were up late last night because you had a gig. So I'm going to let you go. And thank you so much for coming on. And thank you so much for sharing your music. And I wish you the best of luck in the future.
Thank you so much for having us, Ali. It's very kind of you.
You're welcome anytime. And thank you for joining me on the Ali's Attic Show. Keep checking my website because you never know what kind of surprises you'll find in my attic. Cheers.